Welcome back, Bravehearts, to the Doc of Detox Show. I'm Dr. Daryl Wolf, and your host and your guide in creating the perfect strategy for the life that you deserve. Today's show is the most powerful energy medicine delivery system. We're going to be talking about a device today called Cellsonic. Now, this device is not something that you'll find in the average household because it's not average. This device is a fairly expensive device, and the reason why is because of its technology. We're going to be talking about a device today that delivers 25,000 volts. Now, you're going to say to yourself, how in the heck can you deliver 25,000 volts to the human body? Okay, because, I mean, you could stick your finger in a socket of 120 volts, and it could actually put you into a seizure or a heart attack, or it could do bad things. It could burn you. Well, because we're going to be bringing on Andrew Haig, and Andrew is the inventor of what we call Cellsonic. And Cellsonic is the most powerful energy medicine device on the planet. Now, you probably hear about people talking about the med bed. Well, the med bed is not like the Cellsonic, and the med bed will be doing different types of frequencies. Next week, I will have a gentleman on, okay, and we're going to be talking what's called the sentient element. Now, the sentient element, okay, is the med bed, except the sentient element costs less than $4,000, where the med bed is going to be like what? I don't know, it's probably going to cost $1 million or more, and because, you know, it's all the hype and all the rave, but understand something, on an electrical point of view, because guess what? Do you know what the human body is? The human body is an electromagnetic being. Okay, here's the deal. So, every cell in your body is a battery. In every cell in your body, you've got what's called mitochondria. What actually creates the energy for a human is called mitochondria. The mitochondria create ATP. The ATP is what creates the energy. And are you ready for this? Okay. A person that weighs 75 kilograms needs to make 85 kilograms of ATP a day to stay healthy. Now, do you think that's happening? We know that 92% of the population have an autoimmune disease today, which means the body's attacking itself, which means that people are inflamed and on fire. And anybody that has a chronic disease, wherever that chronic disease in the body, the mitochondria, which are the powerhouse of the cells that make the ATP, are damaged. Now, what are they damaged with? Well, we know that inflame, okay, is the only way that you get an autoimmune disease, all the way from arthritis to cancer. We also know that if you stay inflamed long enough and strong enough, you will damage the tissue cells. You will change the pH of the fluids within the cells or in the body. But the biggest problem is the calcification, because when your cells are on fire, just like your joints and like your organs and all the other tissues in your body, you will pull calcium from your bones. That calcium is used to put out the fire and to also create a cement wall to stop the inflammation from spreading. So right down into the cellular level, your mitochondria will become calcified. And when they become calcified, they will no longer spin 2,500 times per second. They will only spin 300 times or maybe up to 600 times per second. So if that's true, then we know that we have just reduced, okay, we've just reduced by about 80% our energy. So here's the thing. Now I want you to get this. How many people do you know have chronic fatigue? How many people do you know have fibromyalgia? How many people do you know are sick right now and can't get out of bed? How many people do you know find it hard to get out of bed, and when they go to bed, they're tired, but they can't get to sleep? How many people do you know have tried many different things, from this treatment to this treatment to that treatment to this body work to that body work to that supplement to everything they've done? Remember something, whether you're talking about food, drink, the people you hang around with, what you talk about, what you think about, everything's vibration. And everything has energy attached to it because, as Einstein stated, E equals mc squared. Energy creates mass. And for most people, they don't have enough energy, and they're creating one hell of a mess in their body. So the reality is the Cellsonic also was known as the, what? Stone breaker. And why is that? Because the Cellsonic has the capabilities of actually breaking up kidney stones, gallstones. And also, what about the calcium deposits in your breast? What about the calcium deposits in your joints and in your muscle tissues everywhere? Because understand something, the more you suffer from osteopenia, osteoarthritis, or rheumatoid arthritis, all of these are calcium problems where the calcium is leaving the bones and getting displaced in the body. The only time that you actually get rid of calcium that you have pulled from your bones is if you were to, what? Get rid of a kidney stone or get rid of a gallstone. But all the rest of the calcium that's been displaced, whether you have a 30% deficiency in your bone mass or 40% or 50%, that calcium's still in your body. What if we were able to use an energy medicine device like Cellsonic to actually vibrate the calcium off of the mitochondria, and then put in an energy surge, okay, of 25,000 volts, but in a love harmonic to actually tell the mitochondria in the cell that you're not sick. Okay, let me show you something. I'm going to bring on Andrew in a second, but the reality is this. If you've been practicing depression for a long time, it's very hard to get out of there. But what if I could do something to make you laugh or make you smile or make you happier? Right away, we would change everything. Understand, people that are depressed will never heal. People that are sad, people that are angry, people that are frustrated, people that have anxiety all the time, don't even know it, they will never heal. And understand something, whether you get this or not, the system is sucking the energy out of us. By what? Terrorizing us, creating fear out in the world, okay? I mean, in this world, if you're caught telling the truth, it's a dangerous situation. How do you tell the truth in a world of lies? And that's what I'm going to continually try to do. So here's the deal. You are a walking, talking battery. So how much energy do you have if you were dead? How about zero? How much energy do you have if you're sick and in bed and you can't get out of bed? Very little. But now you're sick and in bed and you want to get well and you've got a chronic problem and you need energy to get well. What are you going to do? Well, you better do everything in your power to make sure that everything, whether it's drink, think, eat, the people you're around, the environment you're in, is high energy frequency, because that's how you heal. You're never going to heal in the same environment you got sick in. And you're never going to heal with the same mind that created the sickness. And that's it right there. So why do people choose, to do the same thing that everybody else does and they don't get well? Why is it that people choose when they come to us, the majority will choose what? This is all I'm worth. Look, do you know how, right now, do you know how I teach my consultants? I teach my consultants one thing. The average person will try to cut your program down by 70 to 80%, because they go by what everybody else has done that hasn't gotten results, but they don't think deep enough. When we do protocols for people, and understand, if you call up and you get a Perfect Day consult from us, we're going to tell you what we believe you need to do to get there. I'm not going to give you less of a protocol. I'm going to let you do less of a protocol. If you say to me, well, when we do a Perfect Day consult on you, from the minute you get up until you go to bed, we're going to say, this is what we believe you need to do. We need to give you a 20-foot ladder because you got a 20-foot hole. And then you say, no, I just want a 5-foot one, like you think you're going to climb that thing 4 times and get out. This is why the majority of the population will never get well. And why won't they? Because the majority of the population doesn't get well. So understand something, the majority rules. You think I'm kidding? Why is it that people keep on going to the same therapy and it doesn't work? Why is it that we can have somebody have cancer in a family and then somebody else gets the same cancer, even though cancer is not genetic, and I apologize, but it's scientifically documented that it's not, the epigenetic. Your mind creates everything, and so you become the landmine. You can't show me any scientific documentation or proof that cancer is genetic, and you can't. They tried to do what was called the Genome Project, and it was a flop. But did they tell everybody it was a flop? No way, because the whole of the medical system is based on genetics, that it's a genetic problem, which means that it's out of your hands, out of your control. And then did you ever think about this? What about the word myocarditis? Does anybody even know what that means? And how many children are suffering because of what's going on right now, and teenagers and adults are suffering from that, and all it means is inflammation of the muscle of the heart. That's all it means. But we're always going to try to confuse people and keep things in the dark. But don't you forget this. You are an energy medicine, electromagnetic being. And everything that you've ever drank, everything that you've ever eaten, has left your body on the physical. And the only thing that was left behind was actually the frequency. So what if we could deliver 25,000 volts of energy in a love harmonic? Okay, I'll tell you what happens. Every time we do a non-surgical treatment here, every time we do a non-surgical treatment where we go in and we pull the fibers apart, whether it's a fibroid, whether it's an injury, a sports injury you had 30 years ago, whether it's from surgery, because surgery causes more scar tissue than anything else and more damage in the body. Just know this, you're more damaged after any surgery if you don't understand that you got to go in there with Wolf Non-Surgical, pull those fibers apart, and then use the cell sonic to turn the mitochondria on. Oh, let me tell you something. We have the holy grail of healing, okay? We were pulling fibroids and tumors apart and reversing people with knee problems, ankle problems, spine problems, shoulder problems, neck problems, okay, without the cell sonic. But when we got the cell sonic, we were able to actually turn back on the mitochondria and break the calcification wall around the mitochondria so that we could use ionic calcium therapy to actually get all the calcium back into the bones. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. There's the holy grail of healing. What if you could actually get all the calcium back into the bones? What if you could totally turn back on your mitochondria and make the ATP that you're supposed to create the energy? You've got the healing. There it is. There's the secret. What do you think, Andrew?
It's good. What more can I add to that, Daryl? Shall I explain what the machine's doing? Because it might be people are thinking we're putting 25,000 volts into the body. We are and we aren't. Look,
well, you know what? We might have to, because that's what it might take to wake some people up, my friend. But we're not. Just kidding. Go ahead, Andrew.
Right. You've got that little round thing in the middle of the picture to your right now.
Yeah.
Is where we connect.
Can you guys show me the other picture, please? Go to the next picture. Thank you. Next picture. Okay. So
now you see the shock head connected, and there's a red cable that comes from there.
Please. So there's where it connects, okay?
Yes.
And this is called the shock head, but it's actually pulses. We're not shocking anyone. So I'd like to call this the pulsator, okay? Not
a shock at all. It's a sudden pulse, but there's a suddenness, which might be why we use the word shock. It comes back from a translation from German of about 30, 40 years ago. And it's the suddenness that is very important, because that pulse has a duration of 1 billionth of a second.
Okay, did everybody get that? It has a duration of 1 billionth of a second. Okay.
That is the time it takes for electricity, and there's nothing faster than electricity in light, to jump 1 millimeter in an electrode inside that applicator, wand, as the Americans call it. We call it a shock head. Now there's an electrode in there with a gap of 1 millimeter, and the electrical circuit is across that gap. And as you know, electricity doesn't like a gap, so when it gets to a gap, it has to jump across, and that makes a bang. And a surge of electricity has to jump that gap. And it takes 1 billionth of a second to do that. So you get 3 forces coming out of that.
I'm sorry, you get what, sir?
3. 3. I'm holding up 3 fingers.
Yeah, 3 what?
You'll get 3 forces coming out. First of all, you'll get sound, which is a pressure one. Thirdly, you'll get the electrical field. Just the field, not an actual penetration of electricity. Thirdly, you will get light. And this is an interesting one because we don't know if it's actually doing anything, but it's there. And as the years go on and the experience with this, somebody might say to me, that light is important. Anyway, let's go to the pressure first, because that was the first use of this technology, applying pressure through into the body, into the kidneys, to break a kidney stone. And it shattered. And the
So,
particles
and it also, understand everybody, it broke the kidney stone, but never harmed any tissue. And Cellsonic does not harm any tissue.
yeah, and that's amazing. So over 40 years, you've had millions of patients in just about every hospital in the world, all the countries in the world, no side effects. That's so important. So it breaks the hard tissue, the stone. And a question was asked a few years after that. If it hits bone, what happens? Now, we're talking here about a lithotripter, which is
Can I
10
say
times.
something, Andrew? I need everybody to listen to this because the Cellsonic actually is actually doing something to the bone that your bones need, and that has been going on since you were created. I'll let him talk about it, and then I'll come around and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
That's right. So a lithotripter, the things that were made 40 years ago, and I was working on such a machine in London at St. Thomas's Hospital, one of the world's leading hospitals. That was breaking the stones. So the urologist asked, if we're not accurate and we hit bone, what happens? With a very much more powerful machine. And the bone microfractured and then healed very well. And that became the cure for non-union fractures, pseudarthrosis. It was
Okay,
from
can you
that.
please explain what you just said so people understand what non-union fractures are, please?
Yeah, you've got a break in the bone. And normally, if you put the two ends of the broken bone together, they will join up. But if they don't, it's non-union. It's not joining up, it's a fracture. And remains so. But if you zap it with this machine, you can cause new bone particles, osteoblasts, to form, and that will grow. So that's the constructive side of what the machine can do. And we have to admit, that was all we used to think about for many years until it got round to cancer. And we used it on cancer. We said,
Sir,
look, that pressure.
before we go on to cancer, can I just backtrack onto the bone just for a second so we don't lose that thought? Thank you. So everybody, I need you to understand something. From the minute that you came from the invisible into the physical and you started to grow and you started having bones in your body 24 hours a day was causing small fractures everywhere. And that is a healthy body, to have little fractures. Those little fractures were to help you to produce what we call ions, calcium ions. Now, here's the deal. You may not know this, but by creating those small fractures, by creating those calcium ions, you just unleashed the most powerful invisible molecule that communicates and does most of the communication in the whole body. And what you don't realize is when you reach past your 30s and you get into your middle 30s, you are not making those calcium ions like you used to. Now what happens is you are breaking bone but not making bone. So what happens is with the shortage of the calcium ions, we're not getting the bone back in. So we're losing bone. So we see people with osteoporosis. So with using calcium ion therapy, if you want to look that up, everyone, because it's the only calcium in the world that actually puts calcium back into the bone and actually brings the bone back to complete healing. And we have tens of thousands of testimonials on everything, right from every autoimmune disease, right to cancer, to osteoporosis, to people even in their 80s where their bones were crumbling just walking where their bones are now back to a healthy 40-year-old, even in their 80s. But understand, when we started using the calcium ion therapy, which you can see in the calcium ion therapy guide in my library, and we started using Cellsonic, it doubled the rate of the bone healing. It doubled the rate of the body healing from other, what we call diseases, because it was creating these small fractures that were creating more ions off of there. And then with taking the ion therapy that we do here, I mean, you got to get this, guys. I mean, if I was a pharmaceutical company, or if I was somebody very powerful, we would tell the world that we have something so revolutionary that we haven't seen for over 100 years. And that is the truth. And remember something, I'm going to keep coming back to it, that we are electrical magnetic beings, okay? And look up about calcium ions on GovPubMed, and you will find that I'm right. All the studies are there, and now we've been brought the best of both worlds. Go ahead, Andrew. You were talking about cancer?
We were healing bone.
Yes.
And the orthopedic surgeons then, who adopted this as one of their main tools, tried it on victims, we would say victims, patients who'd broken their bones skiing or motorcycling, where they got also deep cuts, big wounds. And those wounds were healing better than they expected. So they then went to non-healing wounds, diabetic ulcers, where there's a poor blood flow, poor vascularization, and they healed those wounds. So what was going on? In bones, we form osteoblasts. In the soft tissues, fibroblasts. This was making it happen. Now and that was great. Practically 100% cause a diabetic ulcer coming in, treated with this machine. When they change the bandages, when they do the new dressings, which would be about twice a week, that wound will heal. And in fact, one of the first ones was a lady in her 90s who'd had an ulcer since she was a teenager. They healed it. And we've had similar successes, very well recorded. Now, let me advance you to my distributor in Bangladesh. This is 7 years ago now. Andrew, I've got cancer. Can you heal it? I said, look, I think the pressure pulse will knock out the cancer. It might. What I do know, we will not do you any harm. And I know that because we've treated millions of people around the world with the same effect and no side effects. He came along and we treated him. On the third day. He's saying to me, I'm better. I was flabbergasted. It was so easy. It was a year later when I was giving a lecture at Bradford University to the professors there, and I was telling them about this and we're using pressure to cure cancer. And they got very excited because I'd explained how the machine works with this flash of electricity, jumping the gap and so on and so forth. And they said, we'll tell you something. We're treating cancer as an electrical fault. And I had a eureka moment because I knew that we had electricity of a large voltage at low power, but a high voltage, jumping that gap. So there had to be an electrical field. The electrical field was going into the body as well as the pressure pulse. So we had both together. And as I learned then from a very important paper written by Steve Haltiwanger, Dr. Haltiwanger, who was in Texas, the poor fellow died in 2020, explaining the electrical properties of cancer cells. We're all learning. Now, Dr. Wolf has given you an explanation about the mitochondria, the calcium. This was an explanation about the electrical properties. It's all coming together. What the machine does was obvious. How it does it is fascinating. It intrigues me. Some researchers will be occupied by this for years to come. What you, the patients, the sufferers want to know, does it work? What does it do? Hey, it cures cancer. In fact, it's better to say chronic disease.
Yeah, but Andrew, just wanting everyone, I gotta take a step back here. just so you know, I will never say it cures cancer. So Andrew's coming from a different point of view, and understand something. It creates the electrical energy surge to support the body to turn off dysfunction. And understand something. Everything in the body is about alignment, whether you're talking arthritis or whether you're talking cancer. And understand something. We have to watch how we talk, because the holy grail of the medical system and big pharma is cancer. They make more money on that symptom than anything else. So we will never use the word cure, but when Andrew's talking, he's not lying. He's saying, will it create the energy for the body to shut down the symptom called cancer? And I say yes. Now, will it stay shut down? No, it will not stay shut down if the person has not changed their personality, because your personality creates your reality. Did you create your belief? Did you change your belief systems? Did you change your diet at all? Did you change the environment that you live in? So the reality is, I will tell you, if somebody does their emotional work, their nutritional work, and they do this, then guess what? Because understand, everybody, that once you turn a disease off, if you go back to your old way of life, it's your old way of life that will turn it back on from an emotional to a physical level. So I don't believe for myself, I know where he's coming from, but I do not believe there is such a thing as a cure. There is only such thing as a lifestyle, meaning from the minute you wake up until you go to bed. So I just want to say something before you kick back in, Andrew, because I want people to understand this. I have been dealing in the world of called disease, which there are no diseases, just symptoms of being out of alignment, as far as I'm concerned. Just like, arthritis becomes osteoarthritis, just like eczema becomes psoriasis, just how inflammatory diseases can go all the way up to what we call, because cancer is the full-blown 10 out of 10 inflammation in the body out of control. And I'll tell you right now, this device, I've never seen anything shut inflammation down in my life like this in my life. It's absolutely shocking, and you would be shocked if you saw it. We do what we call thermography here. No side effects. It is the most detailed scan of the body. And we can show that when a person comes in with an inflammatory condition that they call cancer, that we can show that after the thermography, 24 hours later, it doesn't show up. But I'm not saying it's going to stay away unless that person has created a new lifestyle. And this is why this is so important that everybody gets this. When people come to us, we make sure that they do a perfect day consultation, which is $150, lifetime support. They do it by phone. They start kicking in and reducing the infection and the inflammation in their body to bring up their energy levels, so that when they come and we do the non-surgical to pull apart the scar tissue, to pull apart the fibroids, and to start loosening up things and melting the crystallization, and to loosen up that calcification, to get it back into the bones, so that when we do the cell sonic, we win. So I need everybody to get this. And also, anybody out there, I want to show you something. My name is Dr. Daryl Wolf, and you may not know me, but everything that I will ever do will be the fullest integrity, and if it doesn't seem that way, I apologize, or if I ever fall down. But I will do with everything with integrity. Like we sell and we train how to work the CellSonic. And anybody that purchases and gets trained by me in CellSonic, and I'm the only one that does it in the world, they will get a 22-day certified program where we will do the whole life coach for 9 days, and then we'll do the Wolf non-surgical, where it is the most powerful body technique in working with scar tissue or any type of spinal problem, knee problem, muscle problem, tendon problem. I guarantee it. And that will come with your training. So I want everybody to understand something, that we want to create practitioners that never, ever have to worry that they haven't delivered the best of the best of the best. So I need everybody to understand something. The so-called "my illness is gone forever" will depend on did you go in and change your personality? Did you go in and change the way you live your life from the minute you wake up on an emotional and physical level until you go to bed? Now understand something. You could own a Cellsonic and just keep on not doing Cellsonic all the time to reverse the inflammation that's caused from the toxic emotional and physical diet. I get that part, but that's not what we want to do. We want to teach everybody because, just so you know, Cellsonic is just under $100,000. It is not just some regular device. This is, I'm telling you right now, I've been in the energy medicine field since I was 21. When I was 21 years old, I was selling Rife equipment. Did you know that, Andrew? And then, and then when I was 28 years old, we were doing ozone therapy on HIV patients in Toronto to the point that I was all over CBC News about it. So the reality is I've been around and I've seen things, but I do know one thing, that this is a powerful electrical device that is putting in 25,000 volts. But you know what? It's doing it with, I would like to call it a love harmonic. Go ahead, Andrew.
What you're saying about that training program is essential.
It's
important. And I'm saying to people now, the machine does half the job. Well, what's the other half? The other half is the emotions, the mind. And I've got a couple of very interesting cases running at the moment. And in fact, it's cancer, but the same would apply to chronic disease, not just cancer, because it's the chronic disease, which can be diabetes and aches and pains. I think lower back pain is one of the main causes of pain in the world, so I understand.
Yeah, but that's from a dysfunctional bowel. If everybody sees that your large intestine and everybody's abdomen is lacking tone, so they're pooping in their pelvis, that creates the infection, that creates the inflammation, that causes the scar tissue formation around the spine, the lower spine. It causes the displaced calcium, and that's all of it. And I'm going to tell you something right now, and people may not get this, and I'm not trying to cut you off, Andrew, but I need to tell you this. We're doing a treatment every day for low back pain, and a treatment, I'd say once a week, that somebody's supposed to go to surgery, and we'll do one non-surgical treatment, one Wolf non-surgical treatment, body work on them. And then we'll do the Cellsonic right after. We don't do a non-surgical treatment, Andrew, unless there's a Cellsonic after it. That's our go-to, because the reality is, people need to start watching our testimonials about people that come here with canes, walkers, and wheelchairs, and that's the God's truth. And remember something, as Andrew said, the emotional is very important, because you want to be able to take massive personal action in loving yourself enough that you are going to get yourself into that life that you want.
Yeah, and it's these two patients I'm thinking about, which is why I'm telling this story now. In my understanding, and in their case it is cancer, it started before they were born. Now that's amazing. So that makes us having to look at the parents. What was their life at that time? And from what I can tell, working backwards, it was awful. And one of them particularly was in war, the war conditions, the Slobodan Milosevic wars. And we're going to have a lot more coming from the Putin wars. But that's the modern world. The other one was relationships in the parents. And if we haven't, to cure those two patients, we have to also resolve the traumas in the parents. It's not just buy a machine, in 5 minutes I'll show you which buttons to press. It's far more involved than that. Everything that Dr. Wolf is explaining to you now is needed. If you don't go on his training course, then you're on to me on Skype every other day, and I'm talking you through it. Go down to Ixtapa Palace, have the whole job done, and learn everything about it. It's not just what's in your mind. It's in what was in the minds of the others that brought you into this world. It's not difficult. But if you start to see it that way, then you can sort it out. No drugs, no surgery, conversation with people who love you. There's no animosity. This is all kindness. It's life how it ought to be. Daryl, take it.
Yes, thank you. And we're getting people asking the question. Gad, do you mind putting up the 800 number and extension 5? People are asking if they have questions, personal, or if they want to get the Cellsonic or get trained or come down here for treatment. You can call me directly at 855-900-4544 extension 5. You can always call the 800 number, everyone, and then leave a message and I'll call you back. But you can call the extension 5, that's my number. Okay, and that works all over the world. And I'm also on WhatsApp at 250-801-5893. So if you want to do that. I'm not really good at emails. I stopped those a long time ago. Getting 500 emails a day is just totally tragic. Okay, so I'm better on the phone. I can answer the questions. And anybody who's got questions, we are live right now on Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. If you've got any specific questions, we will answer those just in a few minutes. Right, Andrew?
Yeah, let's just give them some rules. Surgery doesn't work. Drugs don't work. Because we're not talking about chemical problems here. So why put chemicals into the body? It doesn't work. It's the electrical properties, the pressure has a role, and it's the emotional trauma that has to be sorted out. And people trying to do that on their own are struggling uphill. If you do it with friends, then it can work. And I said to one lady about this, and it was in somewhere in England, and she said, yeah, I agree. And she was counseling people. She said, if the person she's talking to doesn't end up crying, she hasn't pushed them far enough. Well, I was a bit, I'm not going to do that. But that was her approach. And that can happen. It's very emotional. And people will come to tears in realizing how simple it was that they've got to just break off the toxic relationships that have tormented them for so long in their lives.
Thank you, Andrew. And you're right. Okay, so it's called whole body healing. And understand something. We do have people, Andrew, that we tell them, please get a Perfect Day consult before you get down here. Let's reduce the infection. Let's reduce the inflammation. Some people won't do it. They just don't do it. They don't do it. I don't know why, because everybody needs a strategy and everybody should have a guide and a coach. You know, so those people who want to do that, or even if they're not coming here, please go to docofdetox.com, top of the page, and take a look at consultation. It's $150 for lifetime support. You'll get my manual, which is 320 pages, and it is the best written lifestyle guide you'll ever see, and I mean that. You'll get it in a PDF form, and you have unlimited calling with us. It's all about learning a new language and looking after yourself. Here's what I wanted to get at, Andrew, is people will come here, and you know, we have to let everybody do what they want to do. If they want to just come and get the Cellsonic, but even with the Cellsonic alone, people have seen the most amazing things, you know, from instead of getting an operation to get rods in their back for their spine, they've had arthritis. But the reality is if we can look at the whole package, right, what we think, what we drink, what we eat, if we can go in there and pull the beef jerky scar tissue apart, because you have beef jerky scar tissue in everybody. You know what? Just know this, everybody. You might be getting older, but you don't have to get old. The amount of scar tissue and circulation that you have in your body and displaced calcium is going to decide on how old you feel. There's a lot of people that are younger that feel old, and there's people that are older that feel young. Right, Andrew? I mean, you drive your bike every day, don't you? Or almost every day?
I have. I've been on the bike today. And especially, let me add this, because I knew I'd be talking with you now. So having that exercise and pushing some oxygen around the brain and all that, that's how I prepare to talk to you now. Because I don't know what I'm going to say. You're going to ask me a question. I'll tell the story. It's all here, but you've got to have the energy to get it out and communicate with other people. Look, I'm 76 years old, so I'm told.
So you're told.
But if I've got enough time in the day, which will maybe happen one day when we sell the business, then I can do my 100-mile rides. I don't have the time at the moment, but at least I do 20 miles a day. It's enough. In the sort of countryside you see behind me, that's pretty well how it is at the moment. It's lovely.
Thank you. Now, everybody, I want you to understand something. Okay, so why does this device work? And why is it a 1-2 punch with Wolf Non-Surgical and Cellsonic? And you're going to go, oh my gosh, is he still going on about this? Because I'm going to tell you something. And Andrew, tell me if I'm wrong. Every disease is a physical block, first an emotional block that turns into a physical block, but every disease is a physical block in the body, and it's either scar tissue crystallization or displaced calcium. So
That's right.
So what happens here is with the non-surgical, we're pulling apart the fibers, okay? And when you pull apart the fibers, you allow the blood flow, the energy to flow to come in, and guess what happens to that scar tissue? It automatically turns into beautiful connective tissue. That's how fast it is. Then what happens when you go in with the Cellsonic, you're going right into the cellular level, kicking off the calcium wall, allowing the mitochondria to spin 2,500 times, bringing up the electrical charge, filling the cell with electricity. So that's like this. Do you know how many people will come home, leave the lights on the car, and then they got to go recharge the battery, but the battery won't charge right full anymore. So what happens is every time you leave leave the lights on, or every time you run yourself down, you're losing your full charge. What do you think happens when you put in 25,000 volts in a love harmonic in the body? Well, you are filling the cells up with energetic energy, and it's going, oh wow, our capacity was only here over the years, but now it's full again, thank you. So it's resetting the dial, the memory. Everything's a program, whether it's something you do in the day or it's something your cells do. It's all programs. So we can reset the program in the cell by using an electrical current like this. And that's what we're seeing. Look at it.
Darryl, it's interesting watching your body language then. You said we're putting something, and your fingers went to your forehead. And this is our next horizon, because we've already got doctors zapping down into the skull for the brain. Alzheimer's, stroke, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis. Now look, all of these problems, drugs don't work. Big Pharma's got 3 products: vaccines, antibiotics, anesthetics, which leads to surgery, and there's far more surgery than is necessary. That is all they've got, and everything else doesn't work. That's biochemistry. It's fine, we need it. We're all here because we've survived whatever, thanks to biochemistry. What Cellsonic is biophysics. And we've got that in one package, in one machine. It's really all you need. There are much smaller, weaker little devices. But to do the job thoroughly, Cellsonic has got the power and safety. That's so important. Think of those kidney stone patients, millions of them, not a single problem at all. It works.
Absolutely. Now, what we're going to do tomorrow, okay, everybody, if you're watching this video now, we'll be putting this video up on the Cellsonic site. If you go to store.docofdetox.com, look at Cellsonic. This will be the new video we put up there. And we're going to attach tomorrow's video, so you'll see it on here. But tomorrow's video at noon will be me, and I'm going to get a whole Cellsonic treatment done on my spine, okay? I'm going to have one done on the top of my head. I actually had a huge scar from mountain climbing right here, and I'm going to show them pulsating this as well. From doing non-surgical work for hundreds of thousands of hours probably, I have this calcification in here, and they're gonna zap that, they'll zap this. I'll have them do my whole spine, but you can do any part of the body. The only part you don't put it over is you don't put it right over the eye. You can put it to the side of the temple, above the forehead, but not over the eye. Okay, so there's just a couple places that we don't do, and the eye will be affected anyways because of the electrical current, even if you went over here. So tomorrow at 12 noon, if you want to watch, we're going to be coming on, going live, and I'm going to show you the Cellsonic. And just to let you know, the Cellsonic treatment is not painful. People love it. Okay, the first time you start it, it makes a noise, and sometimes we tell people, just get ready, it'll make a little noise, but guess what? It's not painful. And you know, there's a place in my ankle when I was younger, so just letting you know, believe it or not, the sports injuries, the surgeries, and the accidents you had even when you were young. When I was 8 years old, I came off a barn that was 30 feet high. I didn't bend my knees very well. And I also tried to, I didn't roll or do anything, and it was 30 feet. I dislocated both my ankles. My left ankle, I was left-footed and I played soccer, and in my left ankle, it had calcification built up, and with non-surgical, it went a long way. But I'm gonna tell you something. I had a calcium deposit right in where the front of the ankle is, where it bends, everyone. And right in there was a calcium deposit. And guess what? It took me 3 treatments, and I totally got rid of it. So that little piece of calcium, when it's in a joint, can feel like a knife. It can actually irritate your nerves. It can actually make you get arthritis, which is inflammation, because it's scraping along the hyaline cartilage. And understand something, whether you want to believe this or not, with the non-surgical work and with a proper diet and with Cellsonic, you could be only 10% of your cartilage left, and understand, it'll totally grow back. And people don't know this. And the doctor will say you're bone on bone, but you're not bone on bone, whether it's your hip or your knee or anywhere else. The actual cartilage has actually calcified from pulling the calcium out of the joint area to buffer down the inflammation in the joint, and then it calcified the cartilage. But guess what? It's not true. And we prove it. And we tell people that we will give you a money-back guarantee that within the first treatment, we will prove to you that you're not going to surgery. So what I was trying to tell you is this. So I did that when I was just a young child. Now, believe it or not, we don't know this. How many people walk around with their so-called war injuries or sports injuries or accidents, or how many women suffer with a cesarean? Every woman that gets a cesarean, her life is terrible. Listen, I have women crying on the phone. They can't digest. They can't poop properly. Okay? They can't urinate properly. They've got pelvic problems. They're even with as much as the uterus and ovaries falling out of the vagina after cesarean surgery. I'm not making this up. We have a course here that 2 lovely ladies teach called Pain-Free Pelvis Course. And understand something, 49% of the females out there are actually dripping urine. They can't help themselves. And this is all because of inflammation and scar tissue formation. So look at whatever it is, whatever you are limping with, whether it's in your abdomen, in your shoulder, in your spine, in your knee, in your hip, doesn't matter where it is, it's going to put you in the nursing home or hospice someday. So wherever that scar tissue or that calcification or with that swelling, that inflammation, that stiffness, you have to go in and take massive personal action. And it's all reversible. But if you want to go down the medical route and become a 911 emergency and stay that way, I'm not going to blame you, because advertising pays.
Daryl, this is very important. Now, you start with the emotions. I want to come back to the machine. There's normal. Above normal is happiness. Below normal is depression. Now, on the day-to-day basis, we have good days and we have bad days. That's normal. But if you get a person who's always depressed, there is no healing. This is important. There is no healing if a person is depressed. And it's all right saying to somebody, cheer up, relax, and so forth.
Yeah, really.
You've got to change their circumstances. They've got to change their circumstances and get themselves out of that rut. Now, coming back to the machine, this is something we're observing, and I've noticed it for years, and I'm not quite sure how it was happening. People like a treatment. They feel happy after a treatment. They look forward to it. And I first noticed this in a lady with a huge diabetic ulcer. So she was getting a whole load of wax, tack, 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 all the way down her leg, twice a week. I thought it was because the guys who were coming to do the treatment are very nice, which they were. And that was what she was looking forward to. There's something happening. And a good policy, and I think you do this, Daryl, with every patient for whatever reason. do the spine, the whole spine from the neck down to the hips. Straight down the middle, a bit to the right, a bit to the left.
That needs to be done in everyone, and I mean in everyone. It doesn't matter if you've got a knee problem, a hip problem. The spine must get done. If you, okay, I'll let you come right back, but everybody understand, your spine is there to carry your spinal fluid. Your spinal fluid has more light, more information, more communication than any other fluid. What happens when you get scar tissue, displaced calcium, or you get a scoliosis or kyphosis, or you have a slip disc, okay? And understand, everybody, if you think that you're doing okay, we can take the average person, and I mean average person, Andrew, and we can do Wolf non-surgical and then do the Cellsonic, and you want to know something? From 1 inch to 2 inches taller. And we almost get everybody who does the non-surgical and the Cellsonic back to their tallest height that they were when they were healthy. And people will go, I'm losing bone calcium, I'm shrinking. No, it's the actual discs in between became dehydrated, and now they're more like beef jerky and thinned out. We go in and we use our elbows, which is called Wolf non-surgical, and we open up those fibers in between every vertebrae, and then we go in with the Cellsonic. I'm not kidding.
I know.
And then we have them do what's called the pelvic squats right after, and a crab stretch, and they're back to their height. And if they're not back to their height, it's because they're so locked up still, we might have to go in and do it again.
But it doesn't alter the length of the legs, does it? That's important, because otherwise I'd have to increase the saddle height of my bicycle. I've got that set now. Right. So this treatment up and down the spine, which the patients love, because it makes them feel happy. There's something going on there, and I've been told it's serotonin. Whether it is or not, I don't know. There's people know a lot more about these things than I do. But if you're going in for a Cellsonic treatment, make sure you get your spine. It absolutely rejuvenates you. There you are, Darryl.
Well, I'm going to actually, we'll probably cut this out, this little part here, me talking about it, but understand, tomorrow at noon, you're going to see me get my spine done. I'll get here done, and I'll tell you why I want to get this done again, because believe it or not, for years when I was younger, from mountain climbing, I actually sliced right to the bone, and they actually sewed it up, Andrew. And believe it or not, I was up 10,000 feet up, and they sewed it with fish line. So then when I went back down, by the time I got down the mountain, they redid it. And then when I came back to Canada, I was in Sri Lanka. What happened was, when they took the stitches out, one was buried, and it was buried in there for probably about 2.5 years. I'm not kidding. They couldn't find it. They kept taking a razor, and it was bugging me like I had a little animal inside my head. And they couldn't find it. And by going in with the razor all the time, they created such scar tissue in here. I would get a headache and then a migraine right here, and it would just pulsate. So understand, everyone, when you feel pulsing in some part of your body, you feel pressure in some part of your body and pain, it's a blockage, and it's scar tissue or calcification. And I'm telling you that you don't have to have it. I'm telling you that if you want to follow the herd, you're going to be suffering for the rest of your life. Sometimes you've got to break away and do something that's totally different. What do you think, Andrew?
It's absolutely right. I've not suffered as many injuries as you have. I've been above 10,000 feet as well. But I did get a nasty smash up when I was 12. And again, it was on the bicycle. Now, it doesn't show so much because I'm an old man now. But here, I hit a car swerved across the front of me, and it caused me to swing over to the left, and I hit the back of another car. This tooth came out, it went through my lip, and there was 22 stitches put in. Now, later, in fact, only a few years ago in India, they said that, I'll try and demonstrate this with my fingers. Instead of it being sewn like that, it was sewn like that. They didn't quite line it up properly. So this was swollen. So I went through my formative years, the years when you think girls ought to be looking nicer at you, and they didn't. Because I had a big fat lip. All right, says the plastic surgeon, we can redo it. So we took a lot out of this side and rebalanced this side, 75 stitches from here to here. I had 5 plastic surgery operations during my teenage years. And I don't wish that upon any teenager, male or female, because you're an ugly bugger when you're looking like that. And I had to learn to talk. As you can hear me now, at least I've now learned to talk because I had to. I got nothing else to offer people. But this was in soft tissue. But my mental attitude had to be positive. I had to fight forward. In fact, after that crash, I got back on the bike. I got cycling. I got fighting on. I've got my degree. I've made my money and so forth. It's that determination to succeed and to sort yourself out. And I just say to everybody, look, if I can do it, you can do it. Daryl had his accidents. And look at Daryl's done very well. Is more than that. Daryl is helping other people. Now, in one of these cases I've referred to already in this conversation with one of the children, we've sent a lady who has no medical training other than what we've told her, and she's doing the treatments, and it's helping her. We knew this. It was part of our strategy. She's helping the patient. She's helping the parents of that patient, and she herself is discovering a new role in life. This is the mental side that's equally as important as the tack of the machine. Daryl, that's the whole package.
It is. It absolutely is. And it's called whole body healing, everyone. It's one thing to get treated, and then there's another thing to get trained. And we want to make sure that every patient becomes their own practitioner. So trust me when I say that we've got enough support for you in our library at docofdetox.com. If you go on there and you want to get a perfect day consult, we're going to get you started. You know, if you're going to come down here to the Doc of Detox World and Healing and Training Center, trust me, it'll be the adventure of a lifetime. But let's see if we can go through some questions here. Okay, I'm going to scroll to the top. I will go through. Can the Anna, can the Celsonic be used with a pacemaker? Andrew?
Yes, I think it can. I'm not sure from one brand of pacemaker to another what the differences are. But the protocol is, be careful. Give it 50 pulses and stop. And check that the pace of the heart has not been disturbed. Then another 50 and pause and so on.
And also, they should do the pulsing not right over the heart. Do the pulsing on the spine. Do the spine first. Always, do the spine first, but if you've got a shoulder problem, go do the shoulder. And there's no need to do the pulsing over your heart unless there was some type of calcification or other problem. And so understand, there won't be a problem with doing the Celsonic anywhere on the body, but if you've got a pacemaker, just stay away from the heart. Just do it. Why, just work on those areas that you need to. And if you don't have a pacemaker, just know that your heart will love you for it, okay? Let me see here. Kim, yes, Kim. The 800 number is 855. There's no 808, 080. There's no 0800, guys. It's 855-900-4544. So the phone number's written wrong, guys. So can you straighten that out? So the number's 855-900-4544. Please get it straight, Gad. Okay, now, Dr. Kim, again, doctor, got high blood pressure, cholesterol, don't do dairy, listen to you, changed my life, want lung x-ray, my mom passed, okay, 1 second. Okay, somehow I lost her feed. Let me just start. I'll go back to her, please. I'll control this, okay? All right. Changed my life, want lung x-ray. My mom passed 51. I'm 59. Been through your life and some I'm broke, not broke. Oh my gosh. I'm listening, living, learning, loving myself first time and I'm evolving. Good for you. Chris, I have I have a fungal tumor that I want to get done when I come. Amazingly, it's only localized by looking at the thermography. I had non-surgical, and it was greater for my fibroids. Still have scar tissue in my abdomen. I will bet boy, people, it's hard to read some of these. I have lost too much weight and need to have it done. Okay, well, the reality is get rid of the scar tissue and you increase the circulation, you restore the metabolism. The non-surgical and the Cellsonic will do that, but also get on a high vibrational diet of a whole plant-based lifestyle. And when you're here, make sure you live off the juice bar. We have the most expensive juicer in the world. It's our juicer is like $55,000. It's 431 pounds, and it creates nectar. It doesn't create juice. And we have another one that weighs 110 pounds, and it creates nectar, not juice. Everything is about life. Everything's about frequency, okay? Let me see here. Nick, are you familiar with nano cleansing? Yes, I am. And nano cleansing, the best nano cleansing is with actually, take a look at a product called Black Diamond, which is a humic fulvic. Take a look at C60. C60, they're trying to make it illegal in France because C60 actually got rid of the negative from people doing the V. Okay? So understand, C60, MCT oil C60 and hemp oil C60 is 250 times stronger in vitamin C. And there's no higher vibrating nutritional that you can put into the body. All right, take a look at it, do your research. Kim, replying to Dr. Wolf, I need to come to live for me to get reprogrammed first. Yeah, we all need to brainwash ourselves into unconditional self-care, self-love, and that's it. I came on late, Jeanette. How much is the device? Well, the device is, it's 50 cents a pulse when you come to get the therapy. And if you were to buy the device, it's 95,000 US. And I know that we're the only ones in the world that when you buy the device, we give you a 22-day, $8,000 training. And that's part of it because you will take our 9-day whole life coach certification, and it is certified by the World Organization of Natural Medicine. So just know that. And the next course is April the 30th. And then there's 1 day off, and then you're going to take the Wolf non-surgical, and it's a technique of using your elbow to actually pull scar tissue and fibroids apart. Actually go in between the spine and every joint of the body or any muscle and actually bring the blood flow back. And then we teach you all the nutritional ways to get the calcium back into the bones and restore the tissue back the way it was meant to be. So that's all part of the course that you'll get. Johnny Archer. Wonder if this helps tinnitus. Just understand, tinnitus is inflammation of a small nerve from the inner ear going to the brain. Of course it would. But the reality is there's other things that we would do for you too, like clapping the area, get a clapper. The other thing is you'd want to actually also put what we call silver bullet gel into the ear and lay on your side, let it soak, and leave it in there for 20 minutes to a half an hour. Put a hot pack on top so that the silver bullet gel, which is 20 times stronger than the liquid, will go in and get rid of the infection which created the inflammation. You can also use things like infinite iodine in the ear. Okay? Those are the things that I would take a look at, all right? And understand, I had tinnitus so bad when I was younger, and I turned it around through clapping. Take a look in body care at my clapper, and then take a look, like I said, at silver bullet gel and infinite iodine that you can put right into the ear to bring down that inflammation. Let me see here. Joan. They really aren't selling the machine. They're really promoting that the use of this machine with doing the Dr. Wolf procedure. Well, we sell the machine, and we train people all over the world to use the machine. We've sold machines all over the world, and we continually sell them. Tanya, I could use some height and a pain-free day. Well, love, get a consultation, put your toe in, and then we'll give you a money back guarantee that you'll love the consult, okay? You'll get lifetime support, you'll get a guide, a coach, and that coach you can call as often as you want. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes, the phone number is 855-900-4544, extension 5, everybody. And I will be answering the phone when I get off of here. Let me see here. Let me see if there's anything else. Can you lift that up for me, guys? Or I guess I can do it myself. No. How do I lift it up? The Q&A, I can't see. Lift it up higher?
No, just lift it up.
I can't see the last questions. This is it. Okay. I just want to make sure I got it all. Jefferson, I fully recommend following Daryl. People are going to Braveheart Nation in Mexico. Yeah, go to braveheartnation.com and you'll take a look at it. We're looking for people that want to take their life back. That's what you want to do. You want to become the master of your life and you want to be able to heal your family. So first you got to heal yourself, everyone. Esther, thank you, Daryl. Ever since I found you about 3 months ago, I truly believe you truly love your work and love people. Well, understand something. I am my people. My people am me. We can't do anything without affecting other human beings on this planet. Just think if everybody unconditionally loved and cared for themselves, we wouldn't be dealing with any of this stuff anymore, and we definitely wouldn't be prisoners on this planet, would we? Andrew, what would you like to talk about, my friend?
I was listening rather than thinking, Daryl. It was all very good there. What has been said is correct. There's no flannel. It works. That's the point. How it works, don't get worried about that. We're talking about electricity, we're talking about pressure, we're talking about calcium. All of those things are involved. If you've got a problem, put it to Dr. Wolf, and I'm pretty sure he can solve it. It'll very likely involve cell sorting. If it doesn't matter. All the other things that Daryl Wolf has will help you. Trust the doctor.
And understand something, everyone. I just want to say this. Trust in yourself, though. You can trust us, but don't trust us until we earn your trust. Do not trust us until we earn your trust. And I want to say something right now, everybody, and please take this in the right way. You've been ruled, schooled, and fooled. And health is not complicated. You know, why do they call it myocarditis? It just means heart inflammation. Why do they call it arthritis? It just means inflammation of the joint. Why do they call it colitis? It means inflammation of the colon. Why don't they talk in simple terms? You know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. You are not stupid. You are not dumb, okay? They don't, oh, well, do we need to dumb our talk down? No. You need to stop playing games and making health into a mystery. Anybody can heal themselves, I believe, from anything. And I said that, and I believe it. I'm not just pitching it. But you need to believe in yourself. You need to have faith, not hope. I hope I find the doctor. I hope I get well. No, you need to have faith that that which created the universe created you to create an amazing life. But strategy is everything. Do you have a strategy from the minute you wake up until you go to bed? Okay. Do you have people that will actually give you a money back guarantee on their work that it's going to work, and if it doesn't? Understand, let's see every practitioner in the world give a money back guarantee for their therapy, for their treatments, for their trainings, for their consultations. Let's see that happen. Let's see how people start sharpening their tools a little bit. I think we've gotten a little lazy in the world of health, because I'll tell you why. There are, whether you want to believe this, 100 times more health practitioners in the world than medical practitioners. But guess what? We can't seem to get it right yet. So understand, you are electrical, magnetic, light energy, frequency being, and understand it's always been about electricity. It's always been about frequencies, isn't it? Look at this. The light they're using against us is blue light. Come on, 10,000 teenagers are being diagnosed with cataracts in North America every day now from blue light poisoning. And then we know that 5G is a weapon of war. So why don't we start using and understanding the world of light and electricity? And we already know The Cellsonic gives off 25,000 volts in a love harmonic, and it gives off light. And we also know that it's a stone breaker, so it will actually break up the calcification in your joints, muscles, and tissues without hurting your bones and only creating small little fractures in your bone, which you did when you were younger to create the calcium ions that created the most important communication in the human body. I think I'm said enough, and if anybody wants to come on and challenge me next Tuesday on my Q&A with anything that we said here today, I welcome it. I welcome it. And don't trust me. Trust yourself to do your homework, do your research. Trust yourself for logic. Where did logic go? Let's be logical. Let's really take a look. And join me tomorrow. 12 noon, I'll be on. And I'll be showing how, I'll be getting work done, and I'll show you how simple it is. How the most powerful energy medicine system in the world will love you well. Okay, and today I'll be back on at 2 o'clock, which is not long from now. Okay, and we'll be talking to Robin, and she's one of the people that came down and took my courses that will be doing a 3-day spirit course. Now, what is a spirit course? I don't know, but if you fed the spirit, you would heal the body. And that's the truth. So understand, everyone. Yep, there's one question just came in again. Yes, it doesn't matter where you're from. Okay, we deliver Cellsonic all over the world. And the other thing is yep, you would come and you'd take the training. If you buy Cellsonic, yes, you don't have to come and take the training right away. You can buy the Cellsonic, but just know you have an open ticket to take the training when you can get here. And yes, do we have many trainings? We do. Okay, we have one in April, another one in May, another one in June, and then we're back here again September, October, and November. So we do 9 trainings a year. That's right. Since we came to and opened up Extapa World Healing, Doc of Detox World Healing and Training Center, we have trained and certified, okay, 155 practitioners. Not bad, eh? That's only in 6 months. So understand something. You could be one of those practitioners. Understand something. What does it take to become a practitioner that actually knows what they're doing? Check it out, braveheartnation.com or newworldpractitioner.com. Okay, if you want, again, call me at 855-900-4544, extension 5. If you have any questions about courses, trainings, okay, or you want to learn how to run the Cellsonic in your country, in your city, all right? And if you want a full training, we're going to do it. We're going to be here for you, all right? What do you think, Andrew?
That's the way to go.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, and we'll have you back on next month. Andrew will be coming on every 4 weeks. And why? Because guess what? Well, we're talking about the world's most powerful energy delivery system, and people are going to have questions because once you understand that, guess what? E equals MC squared, energy creates mass. Okay? Thank you, Andrew. God bless, my friend.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
So, in wrapping up, everyone, unless you're willing to erase, okay, and replace your beliefs, okay? Otherwise, what am I talking about here? Changing parts of your personality, okay? All right? Creating a new reality on an emotional and physical level, then guess what? You're always going to have poverty thinking, or I just can't heal, or I'm unworthy to love. Because I want to say something. Welcome to the game. Planet Earth is a fun-filled, life-threatening game for the whole family, but you better understand the rules, and you better understand that you've been ruled, schooled, and fooled, and whether you believe it or not, my gosh, just trust in yourself. Find a new way. Take a look at your family and friends. Are they suffering on an emotional and physical level? Are they actually getting well? Have they actually turned around inflammation, infection, and disease in their body completely? Are they living a fun-filled, energetic life? Look at together. Let us uncover and discover, okay, what our true potential is. All right? Okay, so don't forget, you can go to braveheartnation.com, find out what we're up to here in Mexico. and why we're here and what we have to offer here. Okay, our next course is April the 30th, Whole Life Coach, goes to May 10th, and then we have our Wolf Non-Surgical from May the 11th to May the 22nd. And then we will have 2 more before we break for the summer. And those of you that are coming down, whether it's for a course or a course or treatment, feel free. Feel free to call us and get a consultation, okay? And if you're traveling and you want to cross the border, get our travel letter. People are driving across the border in taxi cabs. I will have people coming on in the next few days telling about how their letter got them through the border. We've had people even use our letter to fly with, believe it or not, with no V. But I would tell you that if you were ever going to do that, that's risky. And the chances are, because they own the airways, but at least when you're on the ground, you have to deal with one human being to cross the border. I've had people go back once, twice, and 3 times. No more than 3 times. They just keep trying. Never give up. Never give up on yourself, okay? Don't go with hope, go with faith. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in creating the healing. Have faith in creating the body that you've always wanted to create, okay? All right, so if you do want to get a travel letter, please, the practitioner that's doing your consultation, it's a $5 add-on, and they will fill everything out, and it'll say something like this, okay? That you're coming down for 6 months for what? Personalized treatment and training. And if you have a specific condition, we'll put that in there for you, okay? And remember, everyone, if you want to have notification about our shows, go to show.docofdetox.com so you never miss a show. And if you ever want to download the audios from any of our shows, just the audios, go to iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud, okay? And just know this, we're also on Telegram at t.me/the Doc of Detox. We're on Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, Brighton, okay? I want to thank everybody for joining me today, and understand something. You deserve everything, but you're not going to have that until you let yourself off the hook and know that you need to become unconditional love for yourself. Learn how to love and care for yourself first and foremost, because if you're doing it, you know what? It's going to rub off on everybody else, okay? I want to thank everybody for joining me. Have a beautiful day, Braveheart. You got this. You know, it's not good enough to have the most powerful courses, treatments, and training. We want to deliver to you the adventure of a lifetime that's going to last a lifetime. And I'm going to take you on a little adventure right now and show you what we are going to deliver. What are we going to deliver? We are going to deliver the authentic you, the real you, the genius inside. How would you like to become not just the master of your mind, but the master of your body, the master of your life? You know what? The most important world is your world, and we're about to show you how to create it.
Found Dr. Wolf and all his positivity and trying to reshape our way of thinking and help me be a better person, a better mom, better wife. I'm glad I found him in person in Ixtapa, Mexico.
Never limit yourself to beautiful, because that's what you are. Take a look at this beautiful place. We all deserve beauty in our life. You need to create a new program that is unlimited when it comes to things that are beautiful, things that make you happy, things that make you shine, things that make you feel excited. Let's get excited.
This guy's got something really interesting to say and he's sharing it really openly and we're just really not caring what other people think, and I just thought that was really empowering.
What I've learned in my life is this: to be the change you wish to be the change you wish to see, Braveheart, you have to understand you take life one step at a time.
Dr. Wolf, as many people will have seen, is very direct and straight and will take you to the edge of the cliff, as he says, and then pull you back just in time.
Never lose your focus. Never lose your dream, because you are the dream maker. It's called image, but guess what? It's your imagination. The image that you hold creates the thought that you live with. That thought creates an emotion that creates a frequency, and we know that the invisible creates the physical. I mean, that's quite obvious. So be the power that you seek, and understand something, that all your thoughts matter. And guess what? Unless you're willing to take a look at those thoughts and retrain your brain, change your personality, you'll never change your reality, and your reality could become infinite.
He's a wealth of information, and I love it.
You were created by your creator to create. So let's create something amazing together.
I found Dr. Wolf and I went, wow, here's a truth speaker. And he spoke to my soul and he spoke truth.
So tell me what you think of the destination that I came up with my imagination to hold the whole life coach certification for you. Understand something. It's all about beauty. It's all about adventure. It's all about stimulating the mind, okay? And understanding that your mind is unlimited. And that is what the whole life coach certification is all about. In the whole life coach certification, we are going to go deeper. We have people coming to us, professionals coming to us, from doctors to nurses to accountants to oil riggers to mothers that want to expand their life. And when they come here, they go, I need to learn to help my family, or I want to improve my business. But guess what? We get into their business. When they leave, they become the change that they wish to see, that they wish to be. They become the gift to the world, because when you can stay in the present, and you can't do that until you have unconditional love and care for yourself. And I'll tell you something right now. I have hardly even found 1 out of 1,000 practitioners, or even so-called whole life coaches, that can hold the present moment and own it and then give it as a gift. And this is what I'm going to give to you. And when you come here, this is where you're going to come into this room when you need to find alignment, you need to find balance, and you need to get back into your lion heart breath, because we're going to go deep into your heart and we're going to become the spark that you seek.
And actually what I really love about Dr. Wolf's teachings is that unconditional love is literally it. And then you're like, how can it be that easy? That's just silly. So, but it's really not.
Come play, come stay, come train with us today. Understand something. I know we have fear, but understand, that's just false evidence appearing real. I get it. Stick your toe in, feel the water, but then I want you to dive right in because
How I found my brave heart was through Daryl. He really teaches you to go within and go in through your heart and not your mind, because your heart's a lot more connected to so much more than your mind. Your mind is just so conditioned and your heart is just so open and beautiful.
you're the answer that you've been looking for. Let me teach you how to fly. What does that mean? First, love yourself, Braveheart. Let's take life in and win.
I just lost my husband a couple of years ago. With his passing, he gave me the greatest gift to love myself. But Dr. Wolf gave me the greatest gift in understanding that.
I had a dream 3 years ago that I would live in Mexico and I would have this training center, this teaching center, this treatment center that would touch the world. Your dreams are never too big. And when they start to create a little bit of anxiety, turn them into excitement. And get excited because this is your life.
He's the first doctor that I have encountered that has truly given me the truth, and not just half truths, but the full truth. So it's been revolutionary for me in my healing process.
And this, my friend, when you take on the dream of all dreams and you realize that if you stay connected to your breath, that you can have it all. Do not let anybody take your breath away. Do not let anybody steal your dream, okay? Listen, God gave you imagination. This is your sandbox of life. Take your life back. Right now, we are teaching courses to people that have come from all over the world, and the government is saying you can't travel, you can't breathe, you can't have this, you can't come together. Yes, we will. And we will do it with unconditional love for each other. And we will learn to grow. We will not judge each other. We'll observe and see where we can support each other. But at the same time, we will hold the Braveheart line, because this is the only way that we can grow. So find your roar, because you're so much more. And learn this. You are the unconditional love that you've been looking for. You are the dream maker. I can't wait to see you. We want to become that small piece of the puzzle that brings your dream together. Thank you. Let me ask you a question. What do you think it would take to turn your life around? I can tell you right now, I learned that a long time ago, what the key was. And anybody that has been able to perfect the perfect day on an emotional, physical, and spirit level knows this. The answer is massive, personal action. That's what it's going to take for you to turn your life around. And to turn your life around, you're going to have to go within if you want to change without. And that's the bottom line. And you know, people think that they can do it like with a consultation, or maybe they can do it with a telephone call or a Band-Aid or a 911 emergency, a treatment. But understand, that's not the way it is. The day that you realize that when you master your mind is the only time you're going to master your body. Forget your life. That's always going to be just random luck until you know that you must become the master of your day. From the moment you rise until you gently close your eyes, you must be the only authority for you. And if you think that getting an hour consultation is going to do it, it's not. If you think that going for therapy is going to do it, it's not. You have to submerge yourself into what we would call the personal treatment and training. And you need to do that from anywhere from 6 days to 10 days, or you need to come for my whole life coach certification, because if you don't go in deep, you'll never make changes. They say it takes 10,000 times for you to repeat something before it becomes a prominent, dominant thought. And if you understood that 70 to 90% of all your thoughts are not yours, and they say that 70% of your thoughts are toxic, tell me they're not. Take a look at the majority of the population. 92% of the population has an autoimmune disease, which means the body is attacking itself. Before that, though, the person was attacking themselves on a subconscious, unconscious level. And that, my friend, is the bottom line, and why you must take a personal treatment and training and go deep and understand how to run your life. What that means is learning how to think, how to drink, how to eat, and knowing when somebody is mistreating you, when someone is disrespecting you, because until you honor and respect yourself, no one else is going to do it. So understand, this is your life. If you want to live your passion and purpose, then you must become the master of your mind to become the master of your body so that you can become the light for your family. So please, consider this. You've got the time and you've got the money, because you're going to change the rest of your life for the rest of your life, and that's my guarantee to you.